The Field Artillery is nearly as old as the Army itself. Established on November 17, 1775, the King of Battle is a critical combat arm and the only one in continuous service since the American Revolution. Throughout its history, the Field Artillery has successfully used both direct and indirect fires in combat against America's adversaries. Today's Field Artillery is a highly technical, multifaceted branch that destroys, neutralizes, and suppresses battlefield adversaries by integrating cannon, rocket, and missile systems into combined arms operations, supporting all Army formations with lethal and non-lethal fires. Career artillery officers can expect a variety of operational and institutional assignments ranging from the tactical to strategic levels. Junior officers spend most of their time in the Army's operating force, honing their small unit leadership and staff expertise. This is an invaluable training and educational experience that helps them to understand the larger Army that they serve. As they approach mid-career, artillery officers are afforded opportunities to pursue graduate education and develop expertise suiting them for leadership in either operating force or generating force assignments, training and leading soldiers across the Army, as well as collaborating and training with America's allies. Artillery officers possess a special blend of skills, knowledge, and behaviors. Their unique talents help them to succeed in any mission.
Mentally tough.
Artillery officers excel in stressful situations. Their grace and perseverance under pressure allow them to meet any challenge, no matter how complex or demanding.
Being mentally tough in the field artillery is a paramount skill.
If it's in the middle of a fire mission, if it's in the middle of an actual firefight, being able to be mentally tough and be that cool, calm, and collected leader that's able to make the right decision, not just a decision out of haste.
You're responsible for that round going down range, that round that travels 20 to 30 kilometers through the air and hits a target exactly where you want it to hit.
Physically fit.
Tough, gritty, and tenacious, artillery officers thrive under a broad spectrum of physically demanding conditions. Their complete approach to fitness ensures they can accomplish the mission in any operating environment.
As a field artilleryman, if you are attached to an infantry battalion, you have to be as mentally tough and as physically fit as the infantrymen on the ground.
You are out there alone with your team, and you have to be able to, ruck up mountains, dig your positions.
Nowhere else are you slinging around 90 to 100-pound artillery shells.
If we can't keep up with the force that we're supporting, then we are ineffective in our support.
Interdisciplinary.
Artillery officers routinely integrate expert knowledge from multiple disciplines to develop a more complete perspective that enables them to solve complex problems.
There is not a branch in the Army that requires an officer to be as interdisciplinary as the field artillery.
You have to coordinate and integrate with many other types of units, and not just Army units, but aviation units from the Air Force or the Navy or the Marine Corps as well.
There has to be a clear understanding of the big picture and how all the assets can integrate with each other to support the ground plan.
Process disciplined.
The lethal nature of the field artillery's mission demands that artillery officers diligently adhere to procedures designed to ensure accuracy, effectiveness, and safety.
Artillery officers must be process disciplined. For the most important reason, you must be accurate and on time, all the time. No excuse.
You realize that all these checks are needed. This process is needed in order for you to hit the target and be efficient.
I like being the guy that's responsible for ticking all the boxes to make sure that we are green and we are ready to fire and we're going to be accurate.
The field artillery, more than any other branch I've found, is very procedural focused.
Multitasker.
Constantly faced with simultaneous challenges, artillery officers effectively prioritize and respond to multiple demands.
Multitasking is one of the greatest attributes of a field artillery officer.
An artilleryman has to manage fires. They have to manage air assets. They have to talk on the radio at the same time as advising their commander.
I had multiple hand mics up to my ears, and I'm listening to different nets and different requests for fire or different pieces of information coming over the radio.
They have to really be in multiple places at the same time.
And you have to be able to process multiple things simultaneously or near simultaneously and prioritize what is the most important for the ground commander at that time.
Spatially intelligent.
Adept at three-dimensional thinking, artillery officers rapidly assimilate information from all quarters. In planning and executing missions, they excel at visualizing the entire battle space.
Spatial intelligence is sort of the backbone of almost everything we do.
You're operating on a battlefield. Your battle space is in depth. It's got a width to it. It's got height to it. And you are controlling a lot of things happening within that battle space.
Probably some of the most important thing that the field artilleryman brings to the fight is that ability to take in the entire picture of the battlefield.
I went to school at West Point.
I graduated from Rutgers University.
United States Military Academy.
University of North Dakota.
I majored in geology and environmental sciences.
Human regional geography.
International relations.
Chemical engineering.
Business management.
American politics.
I find that this multitude of jobs is really what keeps you always interesting, and you always have to learn.
You go to light units, you go to heavy units, you go to striker units. You're going to work with multiple different weapon systems.
I started off as a fire support officer.
Talked about fire support officer. Probably one of the hardest jobs in our Army.
When I was a lieutenant, I served as a company fire support officer in an infantry battalion. And as a captain, I served as a squadron fire support officer in a cavalry battalion, both in a heavy and a light division.
The biggest thing that separates us from the other branches is we are a true integrator, and we work across and with every single other branch.
If you really want to experience the width and breadth of the Army, and combat arms in particular, the field artillery is a good way to go.
In a single word, I think artillery is different from every other branch because of our precision.
Our job really is to provide indirect fires to allow everyone else to do their mission.
For me, out of all the maneuver missions and the maneuver positions I've held, providing fire support, providing direct support artillery for our infantry has been the most rewarding.
The field artillery is a team. So we want people that are smart and motivated and ready to be a member of a team and ready to lead that team.
The brotherhood in the artillery community is incredibly, incredibly strong. And I'm just lucky to be part of it.
I think it's amazing when a cannon fires and when rounds go down range.
Being in the field, behind my guns, lined up in battery.
To me, that's one of the reasons why I stayed artillery, is because the power and sort of the might that an artillery battery or an artillery battalion brings to the fight.
I want to do that. I want to be the guy responsible for that.
And that's the king of battle, the field artillery.